If you are broke or poor, you've come to the right place. There is one universal truth we can all agree to. Not having money sucks. You feel me? No savings, no investment, credit card debt, you can't travel. If you finally decide to do something nice for yourself, it sets you back 3 months. You gotta penny pinch all the little things you do. You can't date how you want. It's just not fun at all. You feel me? And the reason why a lot of us stay poor, because it happened to me, is because there are 3 things that are celebrated by poor people more than anyone of why it becomes the reason why we can't never change and level up. You feel me? And so today, I'm gonna share with y'all how I was able to leave that low income threshold with these shifts to my mindset. Now, these are things I'm still working on, and I'm gonna be transparent about that throughout this video. But luckily, I was able to recognize this so I could change my life. And I realized, yo, I gotta share this with people so that y'all can change your lives too. So let's get right into it. So the first biggest mistake that all poor people make, and will most likely continue making it if they don't get to see this video, is when you finally start getting to some money. You feel me? So you go from that 40K job to that 60K job, or you go from that 60K job to that 80K jobs. You know, those little jumps be almost like an extra $500-600 on your check. You want to prove to people that you are no longer poor anymore. So what do? You go and buy that foreign whip, $1,000 car note. You go move into a nicer apartment, $2,500 a month. You go and get those designer bags, $3,000 a piece. And then every little thing you do, everybody's celebrating. Now that you rolling in that Benz, people like, man, you going crazy. No, you're not. You're not going crazy. Now that you living in that luxury apartment, everybody like, dang, this how you living, bro? You know deep down, them credit card bills are still stacking up. You feel me? Like you going by that designer bag now, you going crazy on the gram with those pics, and people like, sheesh, what you do for a living? Barely getting by. You know what I mean? So I gotta make sure. And I know because I did the exact same thing. When I went from 40K to 60K, started getting me a couple designer bags. When I went from 60K to 80K, turned around and bought me a motorcycle along with moving into a nicer apartment. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when you are doing those things, don't get me wrong, you are making some more money. So I would say you can treat yourself, but there's a component of it where deep down, you need to realize that if as your income is increasing, your expenses are increasing, you stay poor. You feel me? Because if you always dependent on your job to pay you, then now you really just one decision away from being right back in the gutter. But all your decision making right now is trying to prove that you're not in the gutter. So y'all see how it's just a 360 cycle that, to be honest with you, a lot of people are stuck in. You feel me? Which is why a lot of y'all don't even know this. But me being in tech, I'm telling you, there's people that make 150, 200,000 that still got that poor mentality, and they're honestly struggling, still living month to month, one decision away from their entire life changing. And right now, you could be making 50K, and you like, you man, they crazy. If I was making 200,000, you know, you would do the exact same thing, because you don't recognize your poor mentality habits that are seeped deep within your psyche that make you make those decisions. Okay, so my first piece of advice to be able to get yourself away from that I want to prove I'm not poor mentality is to truly run your own race. Okay, if you do want to do something nice for yourself, I'm not saying that you can't, but you can't put yourself in a position to where as you make more money, you continually take on more expenses and just stay stuck in the rat race, okay? The second reason people stay poor, and this is something I'm still working on today, is that you're scared to death to lose the money that you're accumulating because you know what it's like to have been at zero. So one of the first things I did from watching just other successful people, having a few mentors and everything, is one of the first things you're told is like, get yourself 6 months of all your bills and just put that in account, but don't even think about it or worry about it. So lucky for me, one of the first things I did do when I started making a little bit more money is I was sending 10% of all my money, and I called it my no cash broke account, okay? But over time, I'm watching that account, right? And again, you're not really supposed to pay it no mind, but remember, I ain't crossed the threshold to where I'm making so much that you could send the same amounts like into your investing, the same as into your savings. And so I still was balancing things out, you feel me? But as I'm watching that account and I'm seeing it grow, I'm like, it was making 4% interest, right? And as I'm watching, I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong, if 100 million is in there, then yeah, that's some good money you're making. But if it's only $5,000-$10,000, you ain't really making nothing on that within a year. So then I start learning about investing, okay? And I'm watching stocks like a hawk, because remember, you ain't trying to lose no money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching the stocks, I'm doing research on each one, and I start choosing good ones that I'm like, yo, I think these joints gonna take off, right? And man, as soon as those stocks dropped even like 10, 15 cents, so I'm talking about within a day, I'm checking the joint every day, probably like every hour. That joint dropped $30. I'm like, oh, no. I'm getting my money up out of there. They tripping. You feel me? Oh, don't even get me started with crypto when I was putting money in there. And them joint, you know how volatile that is. That going up, I'm snatching my money out. So now I'm so scared to lose the money that I'm accumulating that I'm actually losing more money because I'm putting stuff into the market and I'm hurrying and snatching it out because I'm scared to death. And I realized at some point, like, yo, your money is literally like soldiers going to battle for you. If you're just keeping them all in reserve, waiting for some war to happen, and what if the war never happens? Like, how about you get them to help you out to be able to actually get some more ground within your own life, you feel me? And so, most recently, I actually feel like I had a breakthrough where I invested in crypto, and I knew it was gonna take back off again. And I remember one day it went into the red, and I was like, oh my God, but I was like, no. You said you would not. Stop looking at the account. And then I just looked at it like yesterday, and the joint is way in the green. And I sat back and was just like, man, if you would have stayed strong on all those other stocks, you know, I started going back and looking at all the other ones I was checking out. I was like, God damn, bro, you would have been up so crazy right now. But I was so scared to lose that money that like I just kept making mistakes about it, you feel me? And so that's the second thing I would tell y'all is like, I'm not saying if all you got is $1,000 to your name right now, you should go invest it. But I would say you should think of a limit of just the amount that you want to have in a savings account, you feel me? But everything else, you got to start investing it, you feel me? Because you need your money to make money. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the money I made in my investment account is less than what's in my savings account, but I've made more within the last 6 months in my investment account than I did in like 3 years on the other accounts. You get what I'm saying? And so just imagine though, and again, it's tough, it's easy to say now because you got the exact accurate like data, but imagine if that money would have actually been in investing, how much more I'd be up right now. And so it's just one of them things where, yo, you got to take a risk and take a chance on yourself, all right? The third and probably one of the most important reasons why people stay poor is the lack of belief in yourself, okay? Now, I'm gonna give you all an example of what I mean, and I believe this one is super important. It's just something that once I recognized, I understood why my life wasn't going in the way I wanted. So you can have discipline, you can have a blueprint, you could do all the research you want, you could even execute your plan. But if deep down in your soul, you don't believe you can actually change your life, then it will never happen. You feel me? So like, I'll use the gym as an example. So if you are waking up every single day, 5 a.m., going to the gym, working out, trying to get better, but you don't truly believe you could ever actually achieve the body you want, from the outside looking in, and this is the trick, because this is what tricked me, from the outside looking in, people are like, yo, but you wake up at 5 a.m. and you in the gym getting to it. But if deep down, you don't believe you can achieve that body you want, then it's never gonna happen. You're gonna keep on having snacks randomly. You're gonna keep on like never doing your cardio. It's just how it works. And the same thing comes, I'll just use the creating content, but this could go with anything else in your life. You could be consistent and create a video every week. You can maybe make a short every single day that people can watch, right? And so you'll see some progress. But if you don't truly believe that you are the one and you can change your life, it'll always just be that. There's plenty of people on here that just create content, you feel me? But who truly believes that they can make it happen? That's the ones who are up there that we all look up to be able to get to one day, you feel me? So with that being said, thank you all for watching. I wanted to make sure I shared this advice because these are 3 things that definitely helped me. And of course, I'm still working on some to be able to change into the person I'm looking to be within the future. And I just know people need to know this right away so that way you can start implementing these way before I did, you feel me? And so, yeah, I'll see everybody in the next video.